Hey, just Mark here. Alright, so I want to start this video by saying if you're watching it, maybe you're someone who has had thoughts about unaliving yourself, or maybe you're so depressed that you don't know where to go or what to do. And so, before I get into kind of what I want to say in this video, in the dashboard down below, there are links to it's a Wikipedia link to various crisis hotlines and hotlines in various countries. I did a little bit of research. I found this is a pretty good resource. And the reason I'm actually doing this video tonight, and it's a very sensitive topic, so please be warned, because it's serious. And there are people that I have read comments on, not just on my YouTube videos, but others who have said that they feel so all alone, that they feel maybe they aren't worth it. That, one person even kind of said to me that they feel their world would be better off without them. And that's the hardest part about battling depression and anxiety and being alone. And I am a person who has been there. A year and a half ago, or maybe a little bit more than that now, November of 2023, I had that moment. And there's a video that I've posted, and I'll try to link it here if I can, about wanting to unalive myself. So here are my thoughts. If you are someone who is thinking of suicide or escapism or anything along that lines, the first thing I'm going to tell you, and I want you to look right into my eyes here. Look into my eyes. You're not alone. You are loved. You are cared for. And you are important in this world. And you can make a difference. So please, for the love of God, do something and reach out. A lot of people responded on my last video there about how they don't really have anyone to talk to. And that's why I started researching these crisis lines. My first brush with, suicide and someone in my life who took their life was probably when I was around 12. There was a guy, his name was Ben, and he was a friend of my mom's. And he was so good with us kids. Like, he was always so happy and playful, and we loved hanging out with him, and we loved when he came over. And I'll never forget the day that my mom told me that he had passed away. And of course, kid being very blunt said, well, how did he die? And my mom, thankfully, she's a very honest person, and she told me that he unalived himself. I'm not going to say how, because that's not what this video is about. And I remember thinking, well, how? Life is so good. Keep in mind, I was 12, and I hadn't faced any real super challenges in my life at that point, other than the typical preteen stuff. And I couldn't wrap my head around why someone would want to take their life. And you know what? I think if you or someone you know is thinking about it, and even when I was going through it, a lot of people want peace. They want their brain to stop beating them up. They want silence in their head. Like, how many times do you sit there in your head and these negative thoughts pop up, especially when you're in the deep throes of depression? I thought my life as I knew it, was over a year and a half ago. And my previous life was over. But the scary part for me was, well, now what do I do? I thought, do I mean anything? Am I important? Am I worth it? And at the end of the day, I got through those hard moments, and I only told one person at the time. And I remember that person. I reached out, and it was someone who, is someone I've known since I was 12. And that person had a dinner with me, and I finally broke down and said, here are my thoughts last week. And that person reminded me of my value and my worth. And I know not everybody has that person or a person they can reach out to. So I do recommend, looking at the link below. Nothing is sponsored. I'm not making any money off of any of this. I just wanted to find some resources to help people who are not just in my country, because I've got viewers from all over the world, apparently, and I love it. The most recent event I had with a friend of mine removing themselves from this world was a few years back. And you never, ever would have thought that they were struggling. They were bubbly, happy, energetic, always kind of the life of the room. And it kind of gets me back to the whole, like, some of the people who are battling the hardest are the ones who are smiling the largest, because they're trying to fake it till they make it, or be happy, or find happiness. It's a very hard topic to talk about, because I strongly believe that life is valuable, even with the challenges we all go through. And I've been through hell and back multiple times, and some people get to that point where their brain says, it's not worth it anymore. If you want silence, walk away. There's another form of, like, unaliving thoughts that people don't realize. And I had this for a few years, from about 2013 to 2016, after my heart attack. And that thought was, I call it escapism, but it's like a passive way of wanting to remove your life. And it's not taking your life. It's wanting to escape from everything and everyone who knows you, and starting over where nobody knows your story. Nobody knows nothing about you. You think that the grass is going to be greener, and you're going to go to the other side or do something else that'll make you happy. It might not, but I remember fantasizing and dreaming so much about going away where nobody knew me and starting my life fresh. I mean, I'd obviously try to stay in touch with my family, but I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. And that's what led to those thoughts, which were totally thoughts that never should have entered my mind. But when you're battling depression, and you're battling anxiety, and you're battling questioning your place in this world, some kids are playing over there somewhere, those thoughts can overtake you sometimes. And I've been there. I still have dark thoughts here and there, but never ones of removing myself from the world. And I always try to watch out for those who are depressed. And when some of my friends reach out to me, I do my best to talk to them, and I've only had one friend ever tell me that they were thinking of ending their life. And so here are kind of some tips that I give you if you're ever encountering, and you can even use this if you are thinking about or having suicidal thoughts. Be direct with those people. Don't sugarcoat anything, because sometimes being direct is important. Other things is, open up your ears. Be willing to listen. A lot of people try to fix others' problems by interrupting and interjecting their experiences in it, which is the mistake, because sometimes people just want someone to listen to them. And that could be the defining moment between their thoughts of wanting to leave and their thoughts of carrying forward. Be non-judgmental, because every single person in this world is battling something. I'm very good at covering some of the things that I'm struggling with in life. And there are people who would have had no clue. There are people who had no clue for years. Friends, family. And being non-judgmental is important, because if someone's allowing you to be vulnerable to them, and you're being vulnerable to another person sharing your thoughts, make sure you're in a non-judgmental environment, and make sure you're willing to discuss and open up a bit. Get involved. Get involved in their life. Get involved in other people's lives. It's going to make you better, and it's going to make them feel wanted, loved, and cared for. One of the negative parts is, don't ever dare someone to do it. No. I've heard people do that, and it's ridiculous. I know sometimes we as people get fed up with others when they've got problem after problem after problem, but some people do. There's times I felt like I had a whole year where every freaking 2 weeks, a month, something was changing, and I had a problem, and people would call me dramatic and off kilter and whatever. And it made it worse. Also, if you are having these thoughts and you are reaching out to somebody, sorry, whether it's online, whether it's a conversation, don't ever swear someone to secrecy or be sworn to secrecy. If someone's talking to you, yes, they're hoping it's in confidence, but if you're concerned enough, you can't be sworn to secrecy, because you never know what's going to happen to that person next. So here are a couple tips that I'm going to suggest. And keep in mind, I'm not a therapist. I'm just some dude who's been through hell and back too many times to count. if you are going through these thoughts and you are thinking about removing yourself from the world, my thoughts are simple. Reach out to a therapist. That'd be the first thing I'd recommend. Look at your online resources in your country for confidential private lines. Find ways you can get involved in living again. Because right now, the hardest part might be happening, but once you get through it, man, life gets so good. And then you can learn from it. This is why I'm sharing my story. I've learned from the hard parts, and I'm trying to move forward from them. Someone recommended in one of the comments that they get involved on Facebook groups for like hiking. I'm in a heart attack group. I'm in sporting groups that I enjoy. I am in various groups that are encouraging to me and that I read. Sometimes I never post. Sometimes I just read people's stories because they bring me a little bit of joy and knowing that I'm not alone in my struggle. One thing that helped me a lot is I went for a lot of walks. I walked so many times. I've got a dog, but even if I hadn't had my dog, I would go out and take walks, especially when she's not in the mood for it. And I found that helped my brain, my mind. At night when I'm having intrusive thoughts, just like my video a couple nights ago, I tend to go for a car ride at night. I blast either some good positive music that I like high energy, or I listen to some motivational videos, or not videos, but clips that I've added to my iPod, or my phone, my iPod. But these are things that I've done. There's always something out there, and there's always something to do. And it's heartbreaking to know that people feel so lost, and their brain is overcoming them so much that they feel the only option is the one that you can't reverse, and that's taking your life. So if anyone is battling that and they are feeling that way, just don't. Pivot. Do something else. I don't say just don't. You might be okay, dude, whatever. But the truth is, find the light. There's always a light. There's always a solution to a problem. And sometimes that solution may not be the one we'd hoped for in the beginning, but it can get us to the solution we're hoping for. I'm out here in this kind of empty field right now, listening to the birds, feeling a little cold, but refreshed, sick with the flu. But I'm looking around at the beauty around me, the trees, the clouds, the grass, and I think, this world is a beautiful place, and everybody belongs in this world. You belong. I belong. And I just wish the best for you. I'm hoping the resources I've linked down below will help. And just know that I've been through it. I've thought it. Many other people have thought it. And I believe there's even some groups that you can find online that talk about, thriving after thoughts like that. I guess I'm going to conclude this video by saying, right now you may not feel valued. Right now your brain might be telling you horrible, horrible things. You might be in a very dark spot. But just know that you're going to come out better on the end, and life is worth living, even with our challenges. You are worth it. You are worthy, and you are valued, and this world needs you. Find your light, share it with the world, share your story like I am, because I find sharing some of my stories have helped me so much, especially on YouTube here. But your first step is to know that you're loved. Reach out. Find something or someone to reach out to. Anyways, this is a bit of a heavy video, but I felt it was necessary after reading some of the comments and realizing, man, and maybe it's just older people like me, we just feel lonely as we get a little bit older. But the reality of it is, there are other people like us. And we're not alone. And maybe we need to reach out to other people. I've seen some other people commenting on other people's comments, encouraging them. And I love that. This is the kind of community I was hoping to build. And I love every moment of it. Anyways, that's my chat for tonight. It was weighing heavy on my heart. And I may not know any of you who are watching my videos, but I do care that you're watching. And I do care that you comment. And I do care about you as a human being, because You're here for a reason. May not know what that reason is, just like me, but you're here. Anyways, cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.